Boys, I'm back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dorian Show. It's definitely been a while, guys. And I got to say, this whole time I've been thinking about you. I missed you guys so much. And I just had to get back on this. Listen up, dude. If you guys subscribe, I promise I will never leave again. Allegedly. Dude, it's been a while, hasn't it? If you guys are watching this on video on YouTube or Spotify video, did I lose weight? Look at this, dude. I am like the Nikki Avocado, dude. I am 2 steps behind. A lot of people have been asking me if I was on Ozempic, and nope, just the old-fashioned way of losing weight, which is poverty. Just kidding. No, just mostly diet and exercise. As everybody in the world knows, there's no secret to this. I have been doing something a little different this time around with my weight loss. I've gone up and down in weight, as some of you guys know who know me well, for the past for my whole life. But this time around, I'm starting to eat more protein. I'm trying to get at least 200 grams of protein a day and try to stay around 2,000 calories. So some days I'll hit like only 1,400 calories, which some of you guys might be like, that's too little food. And the truth is, if you have a lot of body fat on your body, like I do, like you're not starving yourself. Like if you're over like 30% body fat, you should be fine. Just like not eating as much because, your body has all this fat to kind of nourish itself, which I have plenty of nourishment on my belly. Anyway, I've been doing this. I've been figuring out ways to eat a lot more protein without busting through my calorie limit. And one of my favorite things to eat right now is 0% Greek protein and mixing it with protein powder. Dude, it tastes like pudding, dude. It tastes like pudding, Yogurtland, except calories are low, and per calorie or per gram of protein, you get so much protein. Did I say that wrong? I'm losing my mind. So it's about each gram of protein is only like 5 calories, dude. So if you guys ever want to lose weight or try to eat more protein, that's what I would say you should try to do. But yeah, I haven't been very hungry. I think when I'm eating healthier, so this is what I do. I build my whole meal around like a steak. So every day I eat a steak. What I do is I weigh a steak in the beginning of the day. I weigh it on a scale, and then I go on MyFitnessPal like this, and then I try to figure out how much protein is in the steak. If it's a bigger steak, obviously the calories will go up. And then I try to get the rest of my protein in lower calorie forms, such as like I said, the protein powder or yogurt. If I have a smaller piece of steak, then I have fewer calories, I could try to get the rest of the 200 grams of proteins with like higher calorie food. So that could be anything. Like yesterday I had two rolls of sushi from Ralph's. All I could afford, but I was able to eat that and get a little bit of carbs, which I don't really have too much. And I gotta say, like the diet has been pretty easy for those of you guys that care. I think before, when I was just eating like the standard American diet, and by standard, I'm probably not even standard before. Like I would just eat fast food or eat takeout, and for some reason, I would eat so many calories, but my cravings are so strong. Like if I was eating like Chinese food, Mexican food, or whatever, burgers, burritos, or whatever like processed food, or even just foods that's mostly based on carbs. Like I get so hungry, like my cravings are so crazy. Like during lunchtime, I'll be like, I need to eat right now. And I would just make the worst choices. I'll go get pizza or whatnot. And the same thing for dinner. But for some reason, whenever I'm doing like a low carb diet, which I've done multiple times throughout my life, like the cravings aren't bad at all. Like I'm never really super starving. You know what I mean? I only eat like one meal a day. It's like today, right now, it's what? It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't eaten a single thing. I had an energy drink and Diet Coke. That's all I had. And I'm not even hungry. I'm not even thinking about food. And then around dinner time, I do get a little bit of hunger pangs, or like, it's not even pangs, but like signals. And I would prepare my food, and then it's never like I need to eat right now. It's just like, oh, I guess it's time to eat. But yeah, the diet is a lot easier whenever you're not fighting against like this huge craving that's part of your biology, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I know a lot of people say, oh, if you're just eating meat, that's not healthy. But I'm like, dude, it's been working for me. Except once in a while, I do get a gout attack. I had one last week, and let me tell you, it's not fun. So I might have to look into taking some medication for my gout. I thought if I was under 220, my gout flare-ups would be all Gucci, because that's how it seemed to happen in the past. When I was over 220, that's when the gout risk is high. Or if I'm just pounding candy at the office, that's when the gout attacks risk is high. But I'm under 220, dude. I'm under 220. I've been eating basically no sugar, and the gout's still here. So it might just be genetics, and I have just shitty genetics, maybe. You know what I mean? Like I get gout and I have no hair, and that's just the cards that God has dealt me. The one true God, as some of you guys know him as. But anyway, speaking of diet, this is a really funny thing. Have you guys seen that Mr. Beast, Logan Paul and KSI, the guy famously who beat up Logan Paul, create their own new like Lunchables called Lunchly. Basically the same thing, right? Like the fake pizza, crackers, cheese, ham, and a candy bar and a drink. But then they're claiming it to be a healthier version of Lunchables, and people are going after them, which is kind of insane. If you ask me, like, I personally don't think Lunchables are healthy. Like, I don't really eat them. That's a lie. I've definitely eaten Lunchables a couple times this past year, 2024, as a 36-year-old man. And I gotta say, sometimes, listen, okay, like I don't go and look for it, but like if I'm walking down Ralph's and all of a sudden they have a discounted sale because the Lunchables aren't selling, they're like, you could get a packet for 50 cents. Papa's gonna get a Lunchables, you know what I mean? And then, but Lunchables is really trash. Like there's so much sugar in their food. Their meats, their ham is like so soft. It's weird. It tastes fake. Their crackers are overly sweet. Like I eat one of those, like whatever crackers they have, like Ritz crackers. Speaking of Ritz crackers, I feel like Ritz crackers are too sweet for me, dude. Like when I eat them, I'm like, dude, what is this? Candied yams, dog? That's disgusting. But anyway, Logan Paul and his boys came up with their own competitor for Lunchables called Lunchly. Fewer calories, fewer sugar. But a lot of people are still hating on them because they're saying like, dude, that's still unhealthy though. How are you going to market this as healthier when it's still unhealthy? You're doing this to kids. And I'm like, look, dude, I don't know why people are complaining. I don't know why people try to hold certain people to a higher standard. You know what I mean? Like I don't know too much about the triple threat of the internet. But they're trying to make a business. They're trying to sell a product that people want. And number one, if they're making this and if someone wants it, like they should have a right to buy it. And I get it. They're targeting like kids and stuff, but the parent at the end of the day have to buy it for them. You know what I mean? And you can't hold them responsible for that. Like how are you going to blame Logan Paul and his friends for selling a Lunchable kind of snack, which is not good, like I said? But like, have you ever bought your kids McDonald's? Have you ever bought your kids Cheetos? Have you ever bought your kids soda, ice cream, a candy bar? If you've bought your kids any of that stuff, like who are you to hate on people trying to make an alternative for Lunchables? It is technically healthier. I don't know. Like, even if it's not good for them, it's like, what, you never gave your kids sugary cereal? Like, did you whip yourself in the back when you do that? Which is kind of crazy. I feel like some people just like to get mad for no reason. And that's just the truth. Like, if I don't know, I know a little bit of business. I'm not rich. I'm definitely not rich. Look at me. I don't even have a background. I don't even have a studio. This is my living room. But the truth is, if Logan Paul trying to make that Lunchly more healthy, like using whole grain crackers, better cuts of meat, better cheese, whatever, like the price point of buying that box of food is going to go up. Like right now, I think they're trying to sell it for like $4. But like if they make it super healthy, it might be like $6 or $7. And do you think people are going to buy that? I don't know. You know what's pretty healthy? Those little grown-up Lunchables, P3. Do you guys buy them? I never buy them because they're expensive. They're expensive for me, dude. Anyway, dude, I'm not pro or against Lunchly. You guys make your own decision. Although I do want to say, if you guys love me shitting on Lunchly, I will do it. If I get 100 subscribers or 100 comments down below telling me to keep shitting on Logan Paul and Lunchly, I will do it, dude. I will sell out. I will sell out for less than you would think, actually. On the flip side, if people want to sponsor me for eating Lunchly, if Logan Paul wants to give me a giant bag, dude, I would sell Lunchly to little kids every day, dude. Every day I would be out there like I was selling like Girl Scout cookies. Dude. Lunchly is super healthy. Come get your Lunchly. I will do it. I will do it for a small price, believe it or not. Dude, if someone would give me enough money, I would eat Lunchly for a whole month. Nothing but Lunchly and see if I could lose weight. That would be a fun thing to do, right? I just need the bag. If someone can offer me the bag, I will do it. I don't even know if Lunchly is out yet, but I will do it, dude, for a reasonable amount of money. I will eat it every day for a month and call it the most healthy and most delicious thing I've ever put in my mouth, dude. I will do that. I will do that for the great American buck. Anyway, let's talk about some finance, which is what I really like. Almost every single podcast, if I'm doing it solo dolo. Dude, big news. Microsoft just signed a 20-year deal with Constellation, an energy company that owns power plants on 3 Mile Island, not 3 Mile Island, although that sounds pretty cool. 3 Mile Island, 20-year. They signed a 20-year deal to buy all of their energy from that power plant on 3 Mile Island. It's going to restart in 2028 and will require 600 workers, dude. Dude, I don't know if you guys are following, but if you're into AI, it's going to be the next thing. They're not going to stop spending on AI. All the big tech companies are going to keep pouring basically all their money into developing AI. And sure, AI is not making money right now, but this is like one race where they feel like they can't fall behind. This is our space wars or Star Wars, whatever the Russian and the US did. You know what I mean? They're just they could be the first and they could dominate the market. And guess what? All the biggest companies are investing in AI. We got Amazon, we got Microsoft, we got Google, we got Meta. They're just going to keep buying AI. And guess what? To train AI, you need a lot of energy. And guess what? You need stable energy. The only stable energy you could get right now is from either coal, natural gas, but they emit greenhouse energies, and a lot of people are like, no, like that little autistic girl from the Netherlands or wherever she's from. How dare you? What's her name? I forgot her name. Can you drop her name on the comments, guys? Forgot. Greta Thunberg. How dare you? Right? And those emit a lot of greenhouse gases, and people don't like that. So we try to replace them with like windmills and what do you call those, solar panels? Dude, I'm losing brain cells. Might be early signs of Parkinson's, dude. My dad got that. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, sad to say, windmills and And the solar panels aren't as reliable. Like they don't produce power 24/7. You need to have battery to store this energy if there's leftovers, but the battery technology is not that great. The only answer is uranium, baby. Low emissions, zero emissions, I should say, very little waste, and it could basically run 24/7, guaranteed energy for all these data centers to make sweet artificial intelligence to replace us all from our jobs in the next 5 years. So anyway, I think there's still time to get into the uranium trade. Obviously, I'm biased, and I'm biased because I have an emotional connection to uranium. You know why? Because I feel like I got in at the bottom. I wasn't as early as a lot of these fools that have been in the uranium play for like 10 years. But I got in the first day of the Sprott Uranium Trust. The first day they went public, traded in the market. I was there. I was there to pick up some shares. So I made some pretty good returns on my investment so far. I think it still could go up. I think it will go up. It's not a matter of if it will go up. It's a matter of when. But that is a very important question because when could be, it could be next year. It could be 2 years. It could be 5 years. It could be 10 years. So you have to make that decision yourself. Are you willing to wait 10 years to see the price of uranium go to the moon? Or would you rather use that money to, invest in other things like Nvidia or I don't know, whatever the next new thing is, which you think might give you better returns than uranium? You have to decide that. I can't. For me, I like uranium, so I'm staying in uranium. And I tend to overestimate my own IQ, as I think a lot of people do. So, you know what I mean? I think uranium could, for all the stuff I buy, like the stocks Cameco and the price of uranium, I think it could at least double in price in the next 5 years. But knowing how dumb I am, I think I might be calculating wrong. I think the chances of it going way higher than that is probably pretty good. So if I think it will go double, it might have a chance to overshoot. Because my calculations are wrong. Like why would it be exactly double what I think it is, right? So even if it doubles, I'm gonna try to hold on to it so it could go up even higher, so I could be rich. But also in the downside, like I thought that Cameco CCJ would never go under $40 again per share, and it's gone down. It's hit that like twice in the last couple months. Like it went down deep into the mid 30s, I think even low 30s. And that's just me overestimating my genius. I was like, dude, this price will never go down. And it went down. And guess what? I bought more. I wish I had more money to buy even more, but I didn't. So I bought a little bit, and the price has rebounded from there. So it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Listen, dude, the demand of uranium will only go up. There is a disconnect right now in the prices of enrichment and the physical uranium. I really hope you guys are following this, by the way. Like I am a rambler, and it's hard to have a conversation with myself facing a camera. But there's a little bit of disconnect in the price of uranium. The contracts for uranium enrichment, basically the process of taking uranium and turning into the fuel that these power plants need, like the prices to convert them has gone up. But at the same time, the price of the physical uranium, that you grab from the ground, has actually gone down from time of last year, which was like $100. Now it's like $80, even $70. And it's been stagnant. So you would think because of demand, the price of conversion will go up and the price of the physical uranium will go up, but it hasn't. So there can only be two things. Because there's a lag. People don't buy uranium for tomorrow. They usually buy, companies usually buy uranium 3 years out. So maybe they're covered for the next 5 years, and they're going to buy the physical uranium because they think a lot of companies are going to start producing more, because they think prices will go up. And because more producers are going to bring more supply, prices will go down for these companies that don't need these uranium immediately. So maybe they're waiting, maybe they're stalling out, hoping the price will continue to fall. Or the other reason is there's way more supply than anybody has anticipated. Because the only people I listen to on the YouTube are just other people that are selling something, right? There might be one guy that just has a podcast like me who's way better, way smarter, but a lot of these people that are giving me uranium news, they're the CEOs, the CFOs of uranium companies, or they are people trying to sell me a newsletter for like $100 a month about uranium. So they all have a invested interest in it going up, and they're all saying there's not enough supply, but there's still a disconnect, right, guys? I think the supply of uranium is low. I just don't know how low, but I think at some point it's gonna rise, and it's gonna rise quick, which is what I think. I think it will go slowly. The thing with the financial markets these days, I don't think it ever has like a slow rise anymore. You know what I mean? Like if you wait too long, it's just gonna go up. Like I believe if I've held uranium for like maybe 2 years, and some of my positions have doubled, but dude, the biggest gains only happen in a few days. You know what I mean? So maybe in the next 2 years, the next doubling might occur in maybe like 3 days. And if I'm not holding it within those 3 days, I'll miss the run. But I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But from what I've seen, like the prices move up so quick. Like you'll be like, oh shoot, is it just a blip? Is it just a blip? And by the time you even think about buying into, you're ready. It's already at all time highs. And if you buy the high and then it drops like 20%, you're like, oh no, dude. That's the life of an investor, I guess. But yeah, I think there's just so much news about uranium that I don't see it being a bad play. I think that the downsides are low, right? There's nuclear power plant meltdown, but even the past meltdowns, like not a lot of people died. Like it was just overblown. People were just afraid of it, right? So that's like not a huge risk. Although I think the more power plants are being built, which they are in the next 10 years, the likelihood of a meltdown is obviously going to be higher because of how many power plants we have. But I think the risk of it completely shutting down the whole business is pretty low from that point. And then the other thing is we have like a nuclear war, and if we in a nuclear war, like money is probably like the last thing you have to worry about. We're all going to be dead. But then there's also so many positives about uranium, right? There's the AI thing. We need more energy across the world. You know, every single country wants more cheaper energy, so that's a demand for uranium. AI is a demand for uranium. Most of the uranium is produced in Russia right now, and Russia and Ukraine are beefing it. The U.S. is talking about limiting imports from Russia, and they're trying to spend money getting uranium, building up uranium businesses so they could procure uranium from in the States and also from the allies like Canada. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many good things coming up that I feel like uranium is going to hit. I just don't know when it's going to hit, and I don't know how much. You know what I mean? Obviously I'm hoping for like crazy returns where I could just quit my job and do this every single day because I love you guys. Or, you know, maybe I'll just double my money, which is still pretty good. You know, doubling your money without doing anything is always good in my book. But yeah, that's what I think about the uranium play. Dude, just a little bit else in uranium. I've obviously my biggest two positions is in Cameco and Sprott Uranium Trust. Cameco, biggest uranium producer in the Western world, right? To the Kazatomprom, which is in Kazakhstan, which may or may not be under the control of Russia, but Cameco's the next biggest producer, and they just bought like 50% of another company, Westinghouse, where they're going to build out nuclear power plants. So that's a good business to own. I have a lot of money in that. And then I have a lot of money in Sprott Uranium Trust, who basically holds physical uranium. And those are my two largest positions in uranium. And I think they're going to go up. I wish I had more. But that's just the way of investing. I also put some money into other smaller uranium stocks. Not as much money as the other. I put money in Paladin, Deep Yellow, and Peninsula. And let me tell you, dude, these are not liquid at all because I'm in the U.S. I have to buy them through Pink Slip, what they call over the counter. And they're not liquid at all. So I think this money is basically gone unless prices explode to the positive side. And when people start buying in, that will be a good time for me to sell. If they don't go completely bust. Well, actually, out of the three, I think Paladin's be pretty good because they produced in the past. They're going to keep producing. Deep Yellow is kind of a marketing thing. You know what I mean? Like they haven't produced a single pound. They haven't started mining. They're not going to start mining until 2026, I think. What they have is just a great management team that's produced pounds in the past, but that's just marketing, baby. Like I don't know if that guarantees anything. And then Peninsula is like American based, which is good. Their mines have produced in the past, which is good. However, they're just spending so much money because the CEO got effed over by another company, basically. So they had to build all this other infrastructure. So hopefully they'll be good, but I'm looking at possibly losing quite a few thousands of dollars if things don't go well for these three companies. But I think they're three different enough companies where it's unlikely I'll lose money on all of them. But on the plus side, I could see each and every one of these companies possibly, especially the smaller ones, Deep Yellow and Peninsula, could possibly 10 times, which is a significant amount of money, but it's not enough to change my world. Like if it went up 100 times, then pop up at ballin', you know what I'm saying? But that's not likely going to happen. Paladin, maybe 5 times, maybe 10 times. I don't know. So I don't know. Every time I look at it, I look at how many shares are traded on the stock market. I'm like, dude, even if I want to sell, it's going to be, the spread will be so crazy because I will provide the whole liquidity, that's crazy. That's how rich I feel. Like me, I'm a nobody. There's no liquidity in these three stocks that I could personally move the price of these three stocks if I put in $10,000 or whatever. Not saying I have it or not, but that's kind of a powerful feeling to feel. I feel like I'm Warren Buffett, baby. Anyway, other big news: Jerome Powell, Papa Powell, head of the Fed chair, just cut rates by 5%, baby. And let me tell you, the market loved it. Stocks roared. I think the economy thinks that Jerome Powell is going to keep cutting rates for the next couple meetings. And you know what this means? Honestly, this is probably pretty bad. I think personally that inflation is going to come back. So I actually don't know why they decided to cut it. I think it's because they're afraid of a recession. But dude, inflation has come down, but prices hasn't come down. Over the pandemic, groceries has gone up more than 70% on a lot of things. Before I was buying ribeye steaks for $10. They're now $17 a pound, dude. That's crazy inflation. Even though inflation has come down, prices hasn't come down. We want prices to come down. Unfortunately, for prices to come down, we need deflation, which people argue is worse for society, which is technically true, but not personally for me, dude. Deflation would be pretty freaking sweet for me right now. Because I have a pretty stable job. I'm not going to lose my job. If prices go down, my purchasing power goes up. But then we'll be at risk of, millions and thousands and millions of people losing their job. Prices go down. And they still can't afford it because they have $0. So deflation will be bad too, I guess. So what I think is going to happen, dude, if inflation comes back, which I think it will, asset prices are going to go up. Commodities are going to go up. You think housing prices are going to come down now that interest rates are lower? No. If people could afford more, housing prices will keep going up. Housing prices, I can't see housing prices coming down ever unless we have a recession, actually. Right? The price of houses were still going up because there was a supply issue recently when interest rates are high. But if you drop the interest rate, like supply will come up and then there'll be more people being able to afford houses. So the price will just keep going up. So congratulations if you own a house. Enjoy the money. Everything's going to go up, dude. This is why I think uranium is going to go up. It's a commodity. There's a limited supply. The more money, people will have to pay more for fuel. It's just going to help me. Stocks are going to go up. And because more people are buying more stock, the price of stocks will go up. So honestly, like when the Fed cuts rate, it only helps like rich people or people that have assets or some of the middle class, right? Like I'm not rich, so it's not going to help me a lot. It doesn't matter if they cut interest rates. I can't afford a house, but the prices of stuff I own will go up. Like my stocks will go up. Like what it hurts is people with no money. You know what I mean? When you lower interest rate, like poor people that can't afford to buy stocks or like a house, like all they do is try to keep whatever little money they have in the bank, and the bank's paying out like 5% on interest. So that's good for poor people. But once you lower the interest rate, like they get less return for their money, and then prices of goods that they are going to buy goes up. So it screws the poor people. But just kind of like deflation, cutting rates help more of the economy as a whole, but it like freaking destroys poor people, dude. So I don't know, dude, if you guys are listening to this and you're dirt poor, which I find maybe, I don't know, dude. I feel like most of my listeners are probably more well off than me. You should probably get into some assets, guys. Like the easiest way with the least amount of work is to buy S&P 500. You know what I mean? Like that. That's like the least effort ever. If you have some money, buy the Vanguard S&P 500. It's not too expensive, and you know what I mean? And then if inflation comes back, the price of the S&P will go up, allegedly. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that's talking online. But yeah, do what you got to do. If you have money to buy assets, do it. Don't hold it in cash. Lower interest rates will destroy your cash, and inflation is going to destroy your wealth or whatever little wealth you have. But speaking of Jerome Powell, you know who outdid Jerome Powell? Freaking China, dude. China jumped over Jerome Powell. Dude, China's been in a recession for like the past 2 years, and I think their government started it all. You know what I mean? Like they were just killing tech companies for no reason, destroying industry, and then like the housing market crashed, and now they're like, oh no, maybe we need to make a U-turn, man. A U-turn they made, dude. Like over the past week, Chinese stock just went straight up, dude. The Chinese index went up 15%. That's insane. I think Alibaba, which I own, went up like 25% in 3 days, which is insane. But if you think about it, I bought it when it was like as all-time highs, so I'm still down a lot. But I did average down when I went lower. I did buy some more, but I went from like down 50% to down like 12% in 3 days. That's a crazy move, guys. And what happened in China is they're in a deep recession, and then the Chinese government is basically giving money to everybody. They're lowering the reserve requirement for banks by 0.5%, which you might think like, how much is that? But it equates to 1 trillion yuans in banking liquidity for them to go lend out to people, investors. Just last year, you know, Xi Jinping, their president, are saying like housing should not be a way for you to build wealth. This is a place for you to live, and like he just like cut rates. Like basically, like if you want to buy a second home in China, before the minimum down payment you needed to buy a home was 25% on a second home. Now it's 15%. So he's trying to get the rich people to come in and buy in a second home. They're giving out basically, they're going basically full Sally Mae for small governments or local governments to buy up homes. They're going to guarantee 100% of the loans they take to buy up all these houses at the state level or city level. Imagine if you lived in like Detroit and And the U.S. is just like, all right, Detroit government, we're gonna back all your loans that you take out to buy up all the houses in Detroit. Isn't that crazy? Like, why would you not do that? So I'm guessing that between that and lowering the minimum down payment for rich people to buy a second home, I think this will prop up the housing prices in China, which is a big deal because most of the people in China put all their wealth in homes. But it gets better than that, guys. They're going to provide 500 billion yuan dollars loan for basically hedge funds, brokers, and insurers to buy stocks. So they're basically saying, like, we're going to give these big financial companies 500 billion yuans to go buy shares of publicly traded Chinese stock, dude. How is that not good? And they're saying these are going to be like low interest rates, dude. And does it stop there? No, it does not stop there. This is a crazy one right here. They're going to give 300 billion yuans to companies as a loan to buy back their own stock at an interest rate of 2.5%. So basically, they're going to allow Alibaba, Tencent, Pinduoduo, whoever else in China to borrow money from the government at 2.5% to specifically buy their own stock. Dude, that is insanely cheap. If I could borrow money borrow money at 2.5% right now to buy stock, I would do it. Actually, I was pretty close before. I still have a loan right now for 3% from maybe 2 years ago that I got from my bank. And that money is in the stock market right now at 3%. It's basically free money. And I wish I knew about this earlier. I would have tried to get more money, honestly. Try to get more loans from more banks. Dude, I would be so rich. This is another thing everybody should know. Like, if you have a house and you have a lot of equity in your house and you could borrow a lot of money from your house for like a low set amount of interest, especially when interest rates were like 2%, you could have got a second mortgage or equity. What do they call it? I'm so dumb, dude. Basically, you get a credit card off of your loan, an equity line based on your home for like 3%. You should have taken as much money as you could and put it in the stock market because inflation was going up. The price of assets were going up. And you're basically getting free money from the bank. Of course, there's risk, but dude, 2.5% is nothing. If you're not a complete idiot, you could definitely pay that back. Anyway, so basically they're offering these. This was not allowed before for Chinese companies. Like, they couldn't borrow government money to buy that back to their own stock. Like, that wasn't allowed, right? They had to get approval from the Chinese government. It's not like the U.S. government where you could just borrow money and then use that money however you like. But at 2.5%, it's crazy for these companies not to do it. So I'm guessing all these companies are going to spend the whole 300 billion yuans to buy their own stock back. And China said that they will not stop it there. And if the economy still needs more stimulus, they're going to keep giving out more money. And what does that mean for me and other international people or Americans? You should probably own some Chinese stock. And I know this sounds risky. It's still at all-time lows for most companies, but this might be a good time to get in and buy some stock. Some famous hedge fund owner, billion guy. I mean, take this with a grain of salt. I forgot his name. Something Tepper. Is it Jack Tepper? Is that his name? Jack Tepper? He basically said, like, you could buy anything in China right now and it's going to go up. Like, that's how bullish this guy is. I don't know if he's right or wrong, but I like Alibaba. I'm not going to buy anymore because I own a lot already. I don't want to be overexposed. But I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold Alibaba until it doubles, at least from here. I think they could double. So, yeah. If you guys want to buy some Chinese stocks, there's some stocks out there I think that are even cheaper than Alibaba that you guys could get in right now. Anyway, there's other stuff I want to talk about. Price of oil, Argentina, Javier Milei, but I could save this for next time. It's about 40 minutes. Just want to say I'm glad to be back. Thank you guys for listening. For anybody that still sticks around to listen to me talk for this whole time, please like and subscribe. If I have more subscribers and more listeners, I'm more likely to stay on, dude. It takes a lot of time to set up this light on this camera and my microphones and stuff. Please subscribe. Maybe next week I'll even be even more skinny. That's just bad. I have really bad grammar. People tell me that a lot. Like one of my ex-girlfriends in the past, whenever she gets mad at me, she's like, "You don't even know how to speak English. I'm not going to allow that here. You have bad grammar." Anyway, if you want to see if I'm skinny next week or a big fat boy, please like and subscribe and I'll be back. I miss you guys. I'm happy to be back. I was putting this off, but I'm glad I'm back. So I miss you all. Love you all. Deuces.